I really didn't understand how important kind of all the intangibles and writing skills, speaking skills, listening skills were required. I mean, in my job now, we have plenty of analysts who are just unbelievable. They can crank through an Excel model, they can do any analysis you want them to do, but they're stuck at their desk and really not really approachable people. And kind of one thing I found is I think I'm a good asset to the firm, but I think I bring a lot more than just technical analysis. I think, I've become someone that senior people trust. I've been trusted to speak with clients, go to meetings, and it's kind of one of those things where, as an analyst in the firm, you have all the opportunities. It's just not everybody takes advantage of them, and I think one of the biggest reasons is because they just can't communicate effectively. They can't do all those, again, soft skills that I described.
It did give a pretty good bedrock for anything you're going to be doing in the financial industry across different, any kind of boundaries. What I use most is, a little bit of the portfolio management in terms of studying what our customers are trying to do, and a lot of the derivative stuff that we learned, just the terminology and some of the ways that you go about, buying and selling derivatives, because we do a little bit of that to hedge our positions here. That comes in handy every day.
The curriculum at RDS really has a lot to offer people in all different course areas. And the two things that have helped me the most have been portfolio management and econometrics. And the reason for that is that what we're doing is creating portfolios out of statistical models that we need to understand the characteristics of those models as well as we can. And the only way to do that is by rigorous application of econometrics and by allocations and risk management, which need to be driven by, best practices in portfolio management. And so those two courses really are the underpinning of everything that I do now.
What CMC did essentially in the curriculum, it gave you a bit of everything that helped you figure out where you wanted to go and where your career wanted to go financial, like in the finance world. That's what it helped me more. And specifically, like the classes like accounting, a really general accounting class, and going a little bit more into depth in other subjects helps you like understand better what's going on.
I think the faculty had a huge impact on my professional life. I would say Professor Muehlberg, who taught the corporate finance class, was kind of my first introduction into a difficult finance class. She has a tendency to call on people and call them out and put them on the spot, which is actually something that happens quite often in the corporate world. So it kind of helped prepare me for that. I'd say the professor that had the most impact on me was Professor Rosette. He taught us accounting. I had taken one accounting course in college. I didn't necessarily find it that interesting, but for the first time, he made accounting interesting and kind of related everything back to finance and how it fit into the bigger picture.
For me, the initial investments class with Professor Houston was very useful in getting kind of that base of knowledge of finance and investment principles. And so I find that to be very useful, just to have that broad-based knowledge to apply to any sort of situation that I've had at work.
Our program itself, with only 20 kids when I started, was you knew everyone very well, and was it sort of created a different kind of environment where everyone was taking the same exact classes at once. So you were all going through the same sort of trials and tribulations, and it did create a nice culture of helping each other sort of get through stuff that you might be good at, and then someone else might not be as good at, and then other people, and that was a good trade-off there. And you got to know everyone really well, and it wasn't just sitting in a giant, amphitheater, studying corporate finance. It really was a great culture that by the end of the year especially, we all knew each other so well that we were able to work together very well.
My 1 year at Claremont, I had, I'd say, kind of a different type of education. UCLA is a much bigger class size. Claremont's much smaller. At UCLA, I could get away with kind of not knowing the professors, not knowing people in my class, not participating that much. And I guess I grew in maturity a little bit in the sense that at Claremont, you had to. We had a class of 20 people. I had professors that would just cold call on me and, grill me for answers. And, at first it was really tough, especially coming from an environment where I could hide behind my desk. But I think at the end, it probably was the most invaluable asset that I gained while I was at Claremont.
I hope you got a sense at how fantastic and helpful our alumni are. Where would you like to go next? I know you have questions. Let's get you some answers.